Students, in this video we will read about different kinds of changes that take place in our surroundings and environment. Some are natural changes, some are man-made changes, some take very slow process, and some are very fast changes. Some changes are reversible, some are irreversible changes. Some are periodic and non-periodic changes. There are desirable as well as undesirable changes also. Our chapter is about physical and chemical changes. Physical and chemical changes, that is chapter number 2 of chemistry. All substances around us undergo changes. In some cases, the changes are small and difficult to detect. In other cases, the changes are obvious and easy to detect. These changes generally get accelerated if we heat the substances. Most of these changes can be classified under two headings, that are physical changes and chemical changes. Physical changes are generally temporary in nature and no new substance is formed. Chemical changes are generally permanent in nature and new substances are formed which have entirely new properties. So, physical change is a temporary change in which the physical characteristics of a substance such as state, shape, size, color, etc. change, but the composition of the substance remains same and no new substances are formed. Some examples of physical changes are the glowing of electric bulb. The filament of the bulb starts glowing and the same filament returns to its original form when the current is switched off. Dissolution of a substance in water is a physical change. Try to dissolve sugar in water. Once the water is heated and evaporation starts, the sugar can be obtained back in the crystalline form. Now try to stretch a rubber band. What happens? It stretches and again regains its original shape. It's a physical change. Change in state of water is also a physical change. Ice heats up. When given heat, it turns into water. When water is heated, it turns into water vapor. And in the opposite direction, when water vapors are cooled, they become liquid, then turn into water. And when water is cooled, it becomes ice. Here are some changes that occur during a physical change. Changes of state of matter. Melting or fusion. The process of change of the solid state of matter into its liquid state at a particular temperature is called melting or fusion. Boiling or vaporization. The process of change of the liquid state of matter into its gaseous state or vapor state at a particular temperature is called vaporization or boiling. Condensation or liquefaction. The process of change of the gaseous state of matter into its liquid state is called condensation or liquefaction. Freezing or solidification. The process of change of the liquid state of matter into its solid state at a particular temperature is called freezing or solidification. What is sublimation? The process due to which a solid directly changes into gaseous state without changing into the intermediate liquid state is called sublimation. Some more examples of physical changes are melting of butter or ice cream, magnetizing an iron bar, shaping of glass by heat, formation of crystals of sugar, salt, and snowflakes. Now there are some characteristics of physical changes which are: no new substances are formed during physical change. Physical change is a temporary change. A physical change is reversible. During a physical change, there is no change in the composition of the substance. And the last one, there may or may not be absorption or evolution of energy during a physical change. Moving forward to chemical changes. Chemical changes are permanent changes in which the composition and properties of the substance change and new substances are formed. The change cannot be reversed. On reversing the conditions of the change, a chemical change is also called a chemical reaction. The original substance are called reactants, while the new substances formed are called products of the chemical reaction. The very first example of a chemical change is burning of paper, rusting of iron, cooking of food, souring of milk, conversion of milk into curd, burning of magnesium. You may take an example: boiling of egg. There are some other examples of a chemical change, such as fermentation of sugar solution to alcohol, digestion of food in stomach, burning of fuels like CNG, LPG, petrol, etc., germination of seeds, respiration in animals and plants, ripening of fruits, photosynthesis in green plants, and formation of manure from animal dung. Now we will discuss the characteristics of chemical change. There is a new substance or substances are formed during a chemical change. The change is permanent, it is irreversible. The composition and properties of the substance are altered, that means they are changed during a chemical change, and heat and light energy are evolved or absorbed during a chemical change. Either they are absorbed or they are evolved. Sometimes sound energy is also given off during a chemical change. Now, there are some simultaneous physical and chemical change which occur in some of the conditions. Like, there are changes in which both physical and chemical changes take place simultaneously. Example is burning of candle. Here, the wax melts and becomes a liquid wax, which when cooled can again solidify to become solid wax. So this is a physical change. Whereas the liquid molten wax burns into water vapor and carbon dioxide, which cannot be reversed back into a liquid or molten wax. So it is a chemical change. Now the reactions or changes are endothermic or exothermic. What do you mean by endothermic and exothermic, children? As I told you earlier, during a chemical reaction or chemical change, there is either absorption of heat or there is evolution of heat. Either the heat is absorbed or the heat is evolved. This energy may be in the form of heat, light, or sound. A change which proceeds with the absorption of heat energy is known as endothermic change, where the heat is absorbed. For example, atmospheric nitrogen and oxygen react together to form nitrogen monoxide in the presence of thunder and lightning. This is your first encounter with a chemical reaction. I want to seek your attention that such reactions will be there in your chemistry in further chapters and classes. So get used to these reactions, because chemistry is all about reactions taking place. So this one is your first reaction: nitrogen plus oxygen at 3000 degrees Celsius of temperature makes nitrogen monoxide. Melting of ice. Heat is absorbed during the melting of ice. Ice, when gets heat, it absorbs the heat and makes water. Again, there is a reaction. Dissolution of ammonium chloride in water yields a solution which turns cold by absorption of heat during the change. So ammonium chloride plus water converts into hydrochloric acid plus ammonium hydroxide. Moving forward to exothermic reaction, a change in which heat is liberated, that is evolved, is called an exothermic reaction or exothermic change. For example, burning of fuels, respiration, and rusting. Solidification of water to form ice is also an exothermic change. Go through each and every slide very carefully, write down each important points, and comment your doubts and queries in the comment section below. Thank you.